Hey guys, good morning. Morning coffee, cheers. Oh, he's a stupid face for the thumbnail. Gotta do the thumbnail thing with the white cutout and bright colors and all this shit because that's how it goes, right? Now, with this video, I'm gonna make sure I don't use the clickbait title. I don't want to do that. The way I see it is like if you're following me, then you're interested in what I have to say or what I do and stuff like that. I really don't aim to try to draw too much attention to myself, because I don't know the way I am, the way I speak. It could be too much for some people. I kind of noticed that about myself, So I figured if you follow me, then you already know me. So yeah, just the one thing I want to avoid is fucking internet drama. That being said, the reason why I decided to make this video is because there was a post on Twitter that kind of got my attention, and I felt like that kind of started this conversation amongst the people that I know and follow inside of the Twitter community or whatever you want to refer to it as. And I'll post a screenshot of it, and it's from Scott Chicken. It says, people wonder why YouTuber streamers end up being depressed. They're trapped in a room 16 plus hours a day and are criticized at every turn. If they take a single day off, they run risk of being taken out of the algorithm and their livelihood being taken away. And if you're on Twitter and if you read that, or obviously if you're following me, if you know of me, then you're probably familiar with people that are very more related towards me or near me or whatever. And you've probably seen the conversations on that. It kind of happened on Twitter and all that, right? So everything I say right now is going to be my experience in the past, not necessarily for just YouTube, just as a self-employed guy. And this is something that I feel I wanted to share from me directly to you that's watching this video, right? Not speaking broadly to anybody in general, this is me speaking to you. And the reason why I feel that's important for me to state that is because, I do get mainly a lot of questions from people, either coming to me because they want me to help them work on their videos, or they ask me advice how to edit, they ask me advice how me and Paul work, or what they can do to improve their videos, this and that. They want that lifestyle that of either working for themselves, doing YouTube and this and that. So that's why I'm speaking directly towards you if you're one of those people that is interested in that, lifestyle of a self-employed person. So again, all this is basically of my experience, and I'm just speaking from myself, my experience to you. So I just want to get that out of the way. Now, I'm not going to go out saying how being self-employed is something great or terrible and this and that or difficult or all that shit. But it is a change of perspective of things, right? When you just start working for your quote-unquote self, right? When you start relying on yourself. I grew up mainly working for myself. My dad started a business. I helped him out. We grew a business together. I dealt with the customers, all this shit. So then, I never really had an actual clock-in job besides, working with my dad. So, we had a difficult time working together. I stopped working with them. I went to work for an actual business, that's where I had to clock in and all that shit. And going into that, seeing how people interact in that environment, it did point out some things I never knew about, right? And something that I guess I took for granted is basically the way how I'm able to conduct myself towards others, right? The way how I speak to people, the way how I interact with them, how I ask for money, how I ask for work and this and that. The persona that I have or that I develop work-wise is totally different than the work that I would have than the personality I would have developed if I was going to a regular job, for instance, I curse a lot. I say a lot of bad words, Someone I'm potentially able to work with, I have no problem saying bad words in front of them. I have that personality or that mentality that if you're not okay with that, then we cannot work together. That's something that I guess that's for me, right? Now, obviously, I don't speak like that towards everybody. If someone's older, different background or whatever, obviously I adjust myself, right? But for the most part, if I'm going to be working with someone really seriously, on a daily manner, that's kind of something that I feel is important to me, just me being comfortable being myself, Whereas, say if I was going to a regular work environment and everything's oh, hey, sir, how you doing? Shake hands, talk about the weather. I'm probably exaggerating, right? But that's what I noticed when I was going to work at a Walgreens, it's a different environment. And when I was working with the people there, the coworkers, my manager that I got along with, they pretty much say the same thing, the different environment and whatnot. And yeah, it's a different world, right? Different. So that being said, working by yourself or for yourself, you're not working for yourself. You're not working by yourself. You're just dependent more on yourself more than anybody else. And I think that's something that people can probably not handle that transition. if you yourself are not a reliable person, say if you're constantly flaking out on people or you're always making excuses not to get done, you push shit off later down the line, your business is going to suffer because you're going to run your business the same way you run your life. That's it, you know? I'm not perfect, you know. As this video progresses, maybe I can point out some flaws of mine. But I'm just saying, when you're working for yourself, when you're self-employed, it's not all great. You know, you're still working along with someone. You're still gonna need someone's help. That mentality of like, yo, fuck it, I don't need nobody. I can do it myself. It's not gonna go for it, dude. You know, especially if you want to be successful, you gotta learn how to work with people. However, I do feel like it's important for you to know who you can work with, right? Rather than just trying to kiss everybody's ass to get work. You know, you need to like find someone that you can work with. Maybe you won't make as much money, but you know, that's not a problem. You can always make more money. So it's more important to have like the relationship with the person you work with, right? So that's pretty high in my mind, is like having like a high business friendship, you know, is very important. Now with this post about people being depressed and other stuff and whatnot, now with in regards to YouTube, like I said, I'm not a major YouTuber. Like what I'm doing right now is either for just a pastime or because, you know, I just feel like I need to share someone because I have noticed little by little I'm getting more of a following that, like I say, people, they come to me, ask me for questions or advice and stuff like that. So depression can still exist, whether you're on YouTube, you're working on a job, you're working at some major CEO company or whatever. It's just, I feel like all that comes down mainly down towards a financial situation in life. If you're in a situation where everything's dandy, everything's fine, you know, everything's going as you think it should, fuck yeah, you kind of lose sight of like all the struggles you've been through, right? And then like you start to like maybe adjust your lifestyle, you know, in the sense of like, all right, I'm gonna go out to eat, I'm gonna buy that new clothes I want, new material objects, things that starts to become a liability in your life. And like I guess a good example, and again, this is just me, but and from what I've seen, you know, with the people I've worked in the past in construction, just everything I'm saying is from the people I've seen in construction, is basically people that start buying new houses, you know, boats, fucking cars, trips, this and that, because everything's going great, right? However, something happens where all of a sudden that fucking income is not coming back again. Shit, fuck, yeah, you know, you fucking start to flip out, you know, it's different. And like, I think that's where like people starts to get fucking upset because, you know, you get accustomed to a certain lifestyle. And like, when you cannot sustain that lifestyle, all of a sudden you're fucking under stress and shit because you can't pay the bills in time or start going into your savings and I don't know what. So from my experience, I had to learn to change my perspective of money, and I'm still doing that, right? I'll post some links in the descriptions, but lately I've been following like other YouTubers. They're more financial experts, right? That they talk about how to like, you know, gain money, save your money, and all that. The top three that I can think of is based off the top of my head is Dan Locke. You know, he's a guy up in like Canada. Minority Mindset. You know, he talks about mainly like, you know, how to invest and all that stuff like that. Save your money and, you know, whatnot. And some other guy named Graham, you know, I think Stephen Graham, like that. He goes into like, again, talking about making money through real estate and buying like assets that, you know, gives him money and stuff like that, you know. So they all are financially successful, but they talk about it, financial independence differently, right? But it's all usually the same shit. And the thing that they all say that's very similar, basically, you got to change your perspective of money. And something I'm learning to do when I'm working on myself, because, you know, I didn't really grow up with a background where they had a lot of money, is basically you need to see money more as a security item. You know, it's not something, you know, we grew up in a society where, like, you know, let's say like hip hop artists, for example, you know, people throwing money up in the air, drinking expensive champagne, the women, the boats, the cruises, you know, whatever. You know, people want that lifestyle or they flaunt that lifestyle. But money, something that I need to learn, that I'm learning for myself, is basically seeing money as more of a security thing, right? If I was to lose my job, I'm able to survive the rest of the year without like getting in the income because I have money saved up. I have like other things that like they produce money for me. Something that, you know, to bring up a lot, these guys is real estate, you know, the rent, you know, they get money, you know, off that property, stuff like that. You know, people, if you start making money or starting to get successful and then you start basically buying stuff that are more liabilities, say like an expensive car, you buy a big house, all this shit, those are liabilities. They're taking money from you, you know, so nothing wrong with getting those things. It's just like, you know, it's the perspective from like these financial guys is basically you have to work to get to a point where like you buy things that are assets say if you buy rental properties, and with the money that you get from those rental properties, it helps you buy the stuff that you want, so like that nice car, stuff like that. Not to promote anything, but I recently got around this fucking book. That's old, but it's not that new either. Rich Dad Poor Dad. This guy's been like showing a lot of fucking YouTube videos, and I don't really watch this, but this book in general is, if you're not fully understanding about finances, I definitely recommend this book. Yeah, I got other books I'm reading and stuff like that. Basically, he points out to that like change your mindset about money. Instead of buying liabilities, learning to buy assets. And that way your assets are basically starts to pay your lifestyle. You want to get that car, your asset, the income they get from that asset buys for that car, rather than you basically, taking out credit and loans and whatnot, because, at an interest, because then technically you're losing money, through like the loans and all the stuff like that. So anyways, again, I don't want to come off like I'm stepping on anybody's toes. Everybody can choose to live their life they want, but I'm just saying, I learned for myself that basically living a lifestyle where you don't have so much overhead can make a massive difference, big time, because, you never know exactly how things are going to go. 1 month, you could be making a shitload of money. The next 2 months, you'd be making no money. So the money you made in that 1 month that was good could pretty much go away, and that's going to happen, when you're like self-employed and stuff like that. So anyways, I feel like I'm going in circles, but basically, yeah, change your perspective of money, If you want to get into like the whole self-employment thing, why not? Just remember, you're not going to be self-employed. You're still going to be relying on someone to pay you, to give you money. So you have to like develop a personality where you're reliable. You know how to communicate what you want and what you need. You're able to pick out the person that you want to work with, because you're going to need help. That's how it is. You're going to need help. You cannot do everything by yourself. You can learn what's needed, but you're going to need to like branch out and have people help you, That's just how it is, You got to learn how to trust people. You got to learn who to trust, shit like that. Anyways, yeah, if you're really going through a bad time in your life, you're feeling depressed or whatever, you're not the only one. No problem with seeking help, get counseling, read some books, look some videos, and if, you're in a position where, you may have to sell stuff off, maybe a car, if you have 2 cars and you only need one, in reality, get rid of it. You have like less to worry about, you live in a big fucking house, scale it down, nothing wrong with it. Oh, get a weight off your head, you like to go at it, need a lot, reduce that big fucking time, So, there's a lot of things you can, you're not like downgrading, if anything, you're kind of like upgrading your health, your mental health, because you got less stress off your mind. So at least that's how I see it. So anyways, I really don't want to continue this story because I feel like I'm going in circles, but that's all I really got. So I hope it helps. Take care and peace.